Welcome back to another episode of the Goonery. Myself and Brandon here. I just speechless, Brandon. We're 3 days removed, and speechless is kind of still how I feel. There's a lot of anger, disgust, just yelling into the void would probably help at this point. But what we knew all along, what was going to be this team's shortcoming was the coaching staff, and it came to a head this past Sunday. Brandon, I mean, they didn't deserve to win that game, but the fact that they lost that game and the manner and the fashion that they lost that game is inexcusable.
Where do I even start? Because, like you said, you watched the entire game. The Bears had no business even having a lead in the
No.
final seconds of the fourth quarter.
Mm-mm.
And thanks to heroics from DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, even the Commanders secondary, they were in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to make a couple of points. Um, First things first. Um, I said in the beginning of the season on this podcast that considering Caleb Williams' development,
Mm-hmm.
that if he were to fail, not only Matt Eberflus should lose his job, but also we should talk about Ryan Poles losing his job too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. I understand that Ryan Poles is basically the darling of the Chicago Bears because he's done a lot. And, he's done different things than most Chicago Bears GMs have done. But the fact of the matter is, when you have the talent on this roster, and I want to be very, very clear about something. The Chicago Bears, as presently constructed, have a championship winning defense.
Yes, they do.
Let me say that one more time. The Chicago Bears have a championship winning defense. And fact of the matter is the offense has fell behind, and maybe I don't know. And this is probably on the coaching staff too, but I feel like the bye week just ruined the momentum of everything because I feel like everything was clicking before then. But that's the coach's job to get the team ready after a bye week. But whatever. This is the same coaching staff. So this is the same head coach. So what are we talking about here? Now, if you waste this team, now granted, you got most of the guys that are locked up and on defense, so you're going to be good on that regard, even though the guys are going to start to get older. But the fact of the matter is also this: there are times there's a lot of times, and by the way, this goes back to the start of his tenure. We've heard rumblings of place saying, making little jabs at the coach. We have had two or three instances.
Not going away.
It's not going away. We've had about two or three instances this season where players on the team is telling the coaches, "Hey, do this, do that, and do this." Look, Ryan Post hitched his wagon to this guy. If anybody wants to sit there and say, "Hey, Ryan Post, explain your reasoning for why you had an absolute stud of an offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson who wanted this Chicago Bears head coaching job."
That news made this week all that much worse.
It was sickening to hear that. But imagine him wanting that job and saying Matt Eberflus is our guy. Matt Eberflus is responsible for almost every single loss the Chicago Bears have had in his tenure. His coaching, his decisions, all of that.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, I'm a big Ryan Poles fan, but he's going to have to answer to this stuff. And the fact is, if he failed with him, stuck with him throughout this whole process, you legitimately have to ask yourself,
yeah.
can you trust him hiring another head coach?
And I don't want to drink the Poles Kool-Aid, but just knowing how this organization has been run historically, part of me wonders if the McCaskies came in over the top, if Kevin Warren came in over the top and said, you know what, let's keep Matt Eberflus. I really do. I do wonder that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that's what happened. Brian Poles very well could have decided that, Matt Eberflus is our guy. And if that was a Ryan Poles decision, wholeheartedly, no outside influence, shame on him. It's
Yeah,
shame on him. The end of story. Nothing else to say. But if there is organizational oversight occurring, like I'm kind of suspecting, it's same old Bears,
yeah.
same old Bears. And the Ben Johnson news coming out this week is the biggest kick in the dick I've felt in a long time, other than the ending of the game on Sunday, of
Yeah.
course. But it you know that Brandon, the narrative that was painted about Caleb Williams before he came out of the draft, he's a little bit of a diva, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly.
Say it.
Let
Say
that
it.
let that diva come out. Get Matt Dweeberflus. I'm bringing it back. Get Matt Dweeberflus the fuck out of Chicago, Caleb. And I don't care if that makes him a diva in the national media. I don't think a single Bears fan gives a fuck if Caleb Williams is a diva and gets Matt Eberflus out here. We cannot fuck this up again. The flashes that we've seen from Caleb so far this year, no one in their right mindset and who is not lying to themselves or a Packer fan. I'm going to throw those in there, which I
Mm-hmm.
can't think straight. That's kind of redundant, but no one can watch him and tell me you do not see franchise quarterback flashes. And he played like shit this past Sunday. There is no doubt about it. But what happened in the fourth quarter? Staying in the pocket. He flipped a switch. He stayed in the pocket, stepped up in the pocket throughout that fourth quarter, made every big throw he needed to. And, you know, Mahomes has played like shit this year. Let's be honest. All year, Mahomes has not played well. But guess what? Fourth quarter comes around and he flips that switch week after week and he just looks lights out. It, with
That's been quarterback play this whole
this
season.
whole
Really?
season,
No offense.
honestly, yeah, you're not wrong. Which is crazy. Other than like a select few guys, I think so far across the league that is the overwhelming majority. But I just the vibes have to be very bad at Hallis Hall right now.
Yeah.
Any goodwill that Matt Eberflus gained himself this offseason with Hard Knocks, it's gone.
Done.
It is
Done.
gone, and I don't know a single Bear fan who wants him to stay here.
Now, here's the thing, because there's a lot of people who are kind of being apologists to saying, like, oh, if Tyreek Stevenson did his job, who I will
Oh,
talk about very, very soon.
Yeah, that's not why that's not why they lost that game.
It's not. It's not. Fact is, it was lack of execution all around. And, that does fall on head coach at the end of the day. Now, I do want to touch on two things. Number one, I have been driven to a point where I'm rooting against the Commanders against this whole season. And it's not solely because
I'm
of
with you.
this, but we are driving this narrative about Jaden Daniels in a play that it is a 1 in maybe in 100, 1 in 100 play
100 if you're
that he scored a touchdown on, which, by the way, it has to be said, that was his only touchdown of the game.
Yep.
If anyone's going to sit there and tell me, oh, he outplayed Caleb Williams, sure, he might have outplayed them, but let's add context. Define being outplayed.
No, absolutely.
Define it, because there was nothing that told me, wow, there is a very big difference between the two quarterbacks. The only difference between the two quarterbacks is who's calling the plays for each. That's the difference. That's the main difference. So this narrative about how Jaden Daniels could be an MVP, I've heard it. He could be an MVP off that lucky ass play. Stop it. Stop. You're lying. And I understand this is what the media wants. This is exactly what the media wants. They want to find the next darling quarterback because we get tired of guys like Patrick Mahomes. We get tired of guys like Josh Allen. Get tired of guys like Lamar Jackson. They want someone to come in and fill that void. But look, it has to happen naturally. If you are going to put them in conversations like that, or for that play, stop it. Stop. That's bad Bears. That's not good, Jaden Daniels.
Not 100%. And just to kind of piggyback off of that, there's a quarterback in this division right now that should be that feel good media story narrative that's being pushed, but that's a whole different conversation.
But if he wins this Sunday, I guarantee he's gonna start getting those.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna start getting those conversations brought up about him. I guarantee it.
But it's to your point. Yeah, Caleb might have lost the first round, right? Against Jaden Daniels. I really don't think either one of those quarterbacks comes out of that game looking good. Did Daniels outplay Caleb? Yes, he did. He did. But dude, I really didn't watch that game, and like I just didn't come away impressed. Caleb is still playing behind a ragtag offensive line. I mean, and it just comes down to coaching. Washington is a better coach team, and coaching wins in the NFL, and it's the reality. Matt Eberflus has won 3 road games in 3 years. 3-17 as a head coach on the road for the Chicago Bears. The fact that it was out of the bye week makes it that much worse.
Very apropos that the head coach of the Commanders was one of the finalists for the Bears job.
Yep.
And look, I think at the time we saw Dan Quinn as like just another guy that was just gonna be maybe another John Fox type of hire. But I think, look, Dan Quinn went to the Super Bowl before, like that. Like we can't ignore that. We can't ignore that at all.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and they hitched their wagon to a first time head coach. So that's just what the Bears organization is. And even if they do fire Matt Eberflus, which, by the way, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it's not even a guarantee that they will. I don't have faith that they're going to make the right decision and go out and get a Ben Johnson. I just don't. I would have to be convinced just from this organization who they are. But the second point that I wanted to add, I want to talk about Tyreek Stevenson.
Where are we
now? The clip is out there. He's taunting the crowd while the play is going on, and he's the actual reason why Noah Brown was just there behind the defense and just waiting for the ball to come into his hands. Tyreek Stevenson, who I think has a high ceiling as a player, and I appreciate the fact he went and apologized because not many people do that.
Not many people do.
But I appreciate that. However, Tyreek Stevenson wants to be that guy, but he's not that guy.
He's nowhere near that guy.
The fact of the matter is when you are a shutdown corner, you can talk some shit. If you got an All-Pro next to your name, if you got people putting you in top 5 conversations, you could do that. But I've seen you talk shit to Nico Collins and he put over 100 yards on your head. I've seen Terry McLaurin cook you on a couple of routes. Matter of fact, even better.
Before that.
Yeah. When teams play the Chicago Bears, they don't target Kyler Gordon. They don't even target Terrell Smith like that.
Nope.
They target you. And I get it. Jalen Johnson's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Who's going to want to test him? They target you. And because it's easy. It's easy. Look, and he said there's going to be improvements. Let me see it.
And here's my thing with Tyreek. Right? You said you see the flashes. You do. He has his moments. And he is halfway there with being a cornerback. Being a corner, if you are a pest and you are an asshole, like, you're gonna be better at your position. I mean, it's just I don't know what it is. It's just one of those weird psychological things. If you are a pest, you're halfway there to being a good cornerback. He's undisciplined. He's just
Yes, as hell.
undisciplined, and that is the only way I can describe him. I mean, multiple personal foul penalties already this year. I mean, it's just it's undisciplined, and I yes, you can be mad at the Hail Mary to end the game in it. I get it. He was out of position. The taunts, what that doesn't even piss me off. It's just you can't be taunting like that if you're playing as poorly as you are.
I'm
And
saying
and the thing is, it doesn't even fall on him. It falls on the coaching staff for not rushing five guys. Why are you not rushing five on a Hail Mary? I You one on one, you know they're gonna run for the end zone. Just send everyone on one guy. More than likely, it's getting thrown into into a heap of people. I'll take my chances five on or 6 on 5. I'll
yeah.
take my chances. Maybe you want to have a QB spy, obviously, but like not necessary if you're rushing five, in my opinion. And Montez Sweat not being on the field for that play,
What the hell?
I,
What
I
the hell?
I find it hard to believe that he didn't want to be on the field. Like I know,
He might have been hurt though.
I
He
know,
might have been hurt.
but like at that moment, you know it's one snap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think potentially 60% Montez Sweat. Let's just say 60%, right? I don't know. Just throw a number out there. I still like him on the field better than what they had.
Yeah.
And I also want to say no one should complain about the holding on a helmet. It happens every single helmet.
All
Never
the
gets
time. Does it make it less frustrating? Probably not.
no, but that's never going to be called in that scenario. So I'm
I
not.
agree.
I did not get upset at that once because watching that happen, I knew a flag was not going to be thrown,
Oh, of course.
and it's just it's frustrating. And the overall quietness this week and how it's been handled at Hallis Hall. The conference is not being live. I mean, just like it's funny business, and it reeks of a joke organization. More like that. It just same old story, but it doesn't make it any less this.
Let me take it up a notch up. That's what a bitch made team does.
Yep.
And I'm not attacking the mental acumen of the players. I'm attacking the mental acumen of the coaches. This is on them. It's on them. You want to close everything and you want to smooth everything over because you know the fact of the matter is you're gonna get questioned about this stuff a lot.
And
It
they,
happened. You're right there. You're supposed to be the leader of this team. You're supposed to be the guy standing up and saying and addressing these things, but you don't want to do that. Why? Why? That because at the end of the day, he did say, "Hey, that falls on me." He did say that, but it falls short. How many times is it going to fall on you? That's the problem.
and it's
That's the problem. Because it's one thing to sit there and make mistake after mistake after mistake. But what are you learning from the mistake is my question. You are 3 years into being a head coach,
no
and
excuse.
we have not seen any improvements on your game managing, what kind of defense you. It's the same stuff. And this is the guy that Ryan Poles is hitching his wagon to. That's why, again, I say this. I like Ryan Poles. I really do. But if this is who you're tying your future with, you might have to have questions about your future too.
It's so frustrating, man. It
I am rooting against the Commanders every single game because this Jaden Daniels agenda has to stop. Someone needs to expose these guys. I'm tired. And I've never rooted for the Commanders, but I actually felt bad for them. I got family members who's Commanders fans. But done. I'm not doing it no more. I'm tired of the agenda. I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of people lying to our face about how great Jaden Daniels is when people could do their job on defense. Stop it. I'm done. I'm done.
It just we can let's talk Jaden Daniels for just for a second here.
Sure.
I know I'm supposed to hate him. I like just as a Bears fan seeing him go number two. I don't want him to overshadow Caleb. My thing is, both of them are going to be really fucking good, and I think one of them is already pretty damn good, and one of them is above average good. I think both of them are already top 16 quarterbacks in this league.
I agree with that.
And have you noticed it's not really Commander fans going at Bears fans? It's the national, like you said, it's the national media trying to create an agenda for no reason. There are multiple MVP candidates out there right now to the point where like Jaden Daniels should not even be in the conversation for MVP.
Absolutely not.
You have Jared Goff playing out of his goddamn mind. Josh Allen has yet to turn the ball over.
He did. He did.
He fumbled, right?
I think it was a pick or a fumble.
Either way, he has one turnover.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's on pace to run for well over 2,000 yards and 20 plus touchdowns.
Not being talked about enough.
Lamar Jackson's playing out of his mind. I mean, if the Bucs make the playoffs and win their division, Baker Mayfield has a serious case, I think, with how banged up that team is. If we're like, in all honesty, I mean, there's just a lot of guys around the league right now. Oh, and if Burrow somehow drags that Bengals team to the playoffs as well.
Yeah. You got the numbers already.
Yeah. There's just so much good in the league right now. There's no need for this narrative. Don't get me wrong. Jaden Daniels is having a phenomenal rookie year, and I can't believe I'm even going to say this right now. There's another rookie quarterback who's playing not that much behind these two as well, who's having himself a strong rookie year.
Oh, Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's working. Shout out to Sean Payton for figuring it out with Bo Nix, what couldn't be figured out in 5 years of college, but Bo Nix is playing well. I'm not saying he deserves MVP. He deserves being in the MVP conversation, but you want to know what is absolutely insane? Looking at the MVP odds, because I had to pull them up just to see.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson tied for first at plus 300. I think that is it's a quarterback award, unfortunately. So okay, somehow guess who's third?
It's Shady Daniels, ain't it?
No. He is not.
Thank God. Who is it?
Patrick Mahomes at plus 600.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's
What are we doing?
he gets
What are
the
we doing?
LeBron treatment. He does. You got Mahomes and you have Goff behind him, Jalen Hurts, then coming in at number 6, Jaden Daniels.
At 6? Come on, man. Come on. You see, again, look, I don't want to hate on the kid, but stuff like this. Come on.
Yeah. And then you look at, you have Daniels plus 1,600, then you got Kyler, Stroud, and then Henry.
Kyler's up there.
And then you have Burrow a few more slots down. It's just Caleb checks in at plus 5,000 for reference, and Jaden Daniels is plus 1,600. Not that Caleb is going to win that award. He's not going to sniff that award, but
yeah,
neither is Jaden Daniels because water finds its level, Brandon. Water finds its level. I don't care that they have new ownership. It's still Washington.
Someone's going to take them out on the woodshed, and I can't wait to see who does
it. I mean, speaking of taking it out to the woodshed, when is Eberflus getting? Is he getting canned in season? Is
No,
Eberflus going?
no, no. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I am. I'm gonna disagree with you. I alluded to it earlier. All it takes is Caleb bitching for a week. If it gets to the media that Caleb comes out and says he doesn't want Matt Eberflus, I find it very hard to believe. Ryan Pohl's phone just doesn't start blowing up immediately.
I'll say this: if we got two quarterbacks back to back years that complain about coaching, you better do something.
That's an even better point. That is
You better do something.
because you saw. I still don't agree with the fact that Justin Fields got benched. That's a whole different can of worms. I know
Yeah, I agree, but it turns out it might be a right decision.
I know Russell Wilson.
What can you do?
Russell Wilson looks like he's been playing pretty well, but I just it's a staffing. It is a staffing issue. End of the day, and that's all it comes down to. And it is. We're heading into week 9, correct? Yeah, week 9, and we're
Damn.
we're back to Dweeberflus. All roads lead
It's,
to Dweeberflus.
and I want to make something very, very clear. We don't record this podcast just a bitch because Bears just came off of winning 3 straight games. But because here's the thing, to bring back the curtain a little bit,
It's easier.
life be life. Okay, so that's number one, and number two, it just so happens we decide to record when the Bears do something stupid. Don't blame us. Don't blame us. It ain't our fault that the Bears just can't run a competent organization.
So I think Eberflus will get fired at some point, but
What
Waldron,
will it take? What would you think it would take, though? Other than Caleb, let's talk about like
other okay, other than
the next
other
2 games
yeah,
is Cardinals and Patriots.
I think if
Let's say if he loses those
they
two,
lose
then
both
he's
of these,
gone.
they lose both of these, he's out.
Okay.
Gives him a shot in the arm heading into the game with Green Bay at home. Shot of life. I maybe get some interim head coach magic and takes Packers down for the first time in ages. And I just Waldron will be out of here after these next 2 games, I think, regardless. I think he's going to be. It's not clicking. How do you come out of the bye week? Like the Kramer goal line play was done. I mean, like,
Unbelievable.
okay,
That was.
it's even more infuriating when you see um, Roshan Johnson Lee is the only player in the NFL with more than 4 carries inside the 5 this year to score a touchdown on every single carry. Um, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna bitch about the Kramer thing because it was inevitable, in my opinion, with how often they were trotting him out there for goal line sets. It was inevitable. Okay. Dumb, yes, but that's not what I'm fired up about. I think it was in the third quarter on about the Washington 45 or so.
Okay.
4th and 1. We're gonna go for it. Let's throw a bullet screen to DJ Moore.
Oh, that was wait. That wasn't even in their territory. That was in our territory.
That's what I said. Oh, I meant on our own 45. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like
4th and 1. 4th and 1. Let's throw a bullet screen.
Oh my! I lost it.
I thought we were past that when Matt Nagy left, and then when Luke Getsy left, and I guess we're right back to it. Third in a row.
I could not believe, and you could see it was blatant, apparent frustration after that play call didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's never gonna work. It's never gonna work. That I couldn't believe it. I could. Oh man, just think about that play. It aggravates me.
I had a high school teacher who I think his advice would go a long way for this coaching staff. In this classroom, he's a former coach at school, gym teacher, history teacher. In his classroom, he would always write "kiss" on his board, right?
Keep it simple, stupid.
All this coaching staff needs to do. You have the talent. Just let the talent win out. And
And I
you
just don't
don't, you
think
don't, you don't need to overcomplicate things and try and prove you're the smartest person in the room.
and literally that's what drives me crazy because literally that what you just said. And I'm just going to completely deviate from the Bears. It reminds me of the Michigan Illinois game
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure as an Illinois grad you watched that game and you said, man, I wonder if you just thought, why in the hell is Michigan passing so much with a guy who's a
I,
backup quarterback?
yeah, I couldn't comprehend that, quite frankly.
And I kept saying to myself, damn, what in the hell is stopping y'all from making things simple? And look, and them not being simple is the reason why Jack Tuttle played one game. He started one game, got concussed, and he's retired.
Yeah.
It's just the oversimplification of these offenses drives me insane. Because look, I this is Andy Reid's fault. It's Andy Reid. Andy Reid got all these innovative things that he does with an elite quarterback, and people think they can do that with any quarterback in the league. You can't. You can't do it. I understand it's a copycat league, but you can't copycat everything if you don't got the talent.
Yeah, I mean, you said it better than I could have, Brandon, because it's
My God, these people are stupid. And I'm just a guy I never played football. I never played football regularly. Only recreationally I played football. But I never know on the field. I don't know how coaches work. But just it's a lot of times. What are your eyes telling you? What are your eyes
okay.
telling? What are your eyes
Sometimes,
saying to
sometimes,
you?
sometimes it's the same thing with baseball. The eye test matters more than what the stats say. But
Absolutely.
I don't care if somehow some fucking weirdo's Matt comes out to tell you 4-1, let's throw a bullet screen. This is going to give you the highest probability of getting a first down. Bullshit when you have Roshan Johnson lined up in the backfield. You really are fuck it. Put Doug Kramer in at fullback and have him push Caleb Williams forward. Like I
And let me tell you, if let's say if this was the early 2000s, they get that running back in the backfield. They do a
running
quarterback
back in the
sneak,
backfield, or
but
let's throw it back to Cutler, where Cutler's going to grab the ball and just dive forward and barrel through whoever he needs to. And I can't believe I'm even saying that, but it's true.
it's true. And even and guess what? What the example I just said is why I get analytics helps, but it does more hurting than helping because you're not letting coaches coach.
Yep. Yep.
Why am I listening to a nerd who knows about numbers and not about football?
You can't. Hey, and everyone talks about, oh, let's moneyball this. Spoiler: the A's didn't win shit.
I'm sorry, that Moneyball year 2002, didn't they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs?
It's true.
Got a movie made about a team that got bounced in the first round. Okay, yeah, whatever.
So realistically, Brandon, we're heading into week 9. Rest of the year, what are your genuine expectations here?
I can't tell you. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I feel like I'm inclined to give an answer, but like at the end of the day, I just don't know. I don't know what this team is going to give us. I don't know which team is going to come out on Sunday. I don't know how much last week's loss is going to affect them. I genuinely cannot tell you what is going to happen going forward because
And
it is the biggest. Like literally, it we'll get more clarity on Sunday. Right now, I can't tell you a damn thing.
because this is the worst place to be right now, 100%. Because Arizona's been playing better. I mean, New England is New England, whatever. Like, if they lose that game, then everyone deserves to be fired. But
Yeah.
Green Bay just continues to find ways to win. You have the Vikings. Yeah, the Lions, who I thought maybe we could sneak one from, but
The only reason why I think it's still a probability they could steal from the Lions is because as physical as Detroit is, Chicago is just as physical.
that's fair. But I'm foreseeing just a scenario where Ben Johnson just decides, you know what, let's pull every trick out of my bag. I wanted to be on the sideline right now, coaching against this team. Let's make him even more upset.
And look, if he does that and turns around and signs on the dotted line on the blue and orange, I ain't gonna be mad at him forever.
Not at all. And Brandon, I'm still not ruling it out this year. I still obviously in season coaching changes like that never happen. I still think that Ben Johnson will be on the sidelines in Chicago next year. This rumor doesn't get out like this week if someone from within Hallis Hall didn't float this to the media. I think they're trying
Also,
to start a narrative, and we made fun of this as Braun Strowman and EC3 would say, "Control your narrative."
ugh, go back.
I know,
Whoa,
I know,
whoa,
I
whoa.
know.
I will say there's a lot of people who said Albert Breer is one of the most tapped in sources with Ryan Poles. So that got out there at a very, very convenient time after what we saw.
Yeah, yeah. So let's hope. Let's hope that that is what's going to happen here because I was really confident that this team would finish 9-8, 10-7, but
Still could, unfortunately. But what is that going to get you in the NFC?
exactly. Sad state of affairs, Brandon. Sad
Yeah.
state. And going on the road to Arizona this weekend, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock for you, 3 o'clock for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that spot, man. I have a very bad feeling about this week. To pick him in Vegas right now, but I just have a very bad feeling.
This is going to be weird. I am less pessimistic than you.
It's weird. It is different than usual on this show, but
Oh man, that's crazy. I'm sorry. I also was overhearing Joe Davis talk about something from atrocious defense from the Yankees. I don't know what's going on now, but I just had to make sure that nothing catastrophic is happening in the Bronx right now.
I hope that World Series is over tonight.
You hope it's over tonight?
So,
I mean,
I dislike both of these franchises because they are everything I wish that my team was. Uh, the Yankees just I can't stand them. Like they're in my top two most hated baseball franchise, and it's just I can't stand them.
and I don't hate the Yankees, but I understand why people do hate the Yankees. I completely understand it.
What's the vibe like with this World Series out by you right now?
Man, I have not seen this much Yankee gear in my entire life. And mind you, the Yankee hat is the most popular hat
Yep.
in the world. And I still have not seen this many Yankee hats, gear, whatever the case is. Like it is hot. And the one thing I will give credit to, whether they're down 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, still seeing the gear out. Like there's a
That's the
belief.
way it should be. That's the way it should be, man.
And,
I'll give it
and
credit.
cause they better than me, cause I'm throwing shit out the window once we down 3-0. But the vibe has been calm, which is very unlike Yankee fans. And I could be dead wrong,
Mhm.
but I don't hear panicking. I don't hear people in the waiting rooms at my job saying, "Hey, those Yankees, man, they stink." No, they're just like, "Hey, man, they're not done yet." I'm just like, okay, this is new.
Yeah, that is. I know, man. Before we wrap, real quick, Brandon, college football. We have to touch on it.
Sure.
Pick your Heisman right now.
Oh man, I can tell you it's not Dylan Gabriel. Um, with all due respect. Um, Look, what Travis Hunter is doing, awesome. Ashton Genty is my Heisman right now.
I agree, and Vegas does not agree anymore, which sucks.
Oh boy.
His stinker of a game was 140 yards and a touchdown, and that dropped him fourth in the odds.
I mean, yeah, he plays for Boise State, but Boise State's freaking ranked. I mean, come, what are we doing here?
Likely going to be the fifth seed in the playoff.
Yeah, like, and which long season, there could be something catastrophic could happen.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're going to be in it.
it sucks. I mean, we're gonna see someone break a record that's been since the 80s, single season yards record, and that deserves the Heisman in my
It
opinion.
does,
But
no doubt.
not to discount Travis Hunter, it's incredible. I mean, it's just insane what he's been able to do, and as healthy as he's been able to stay. I know he's a little banged up, but another one that I don't rule it out though. Kate Klubnik.
I think we're talking about the wrong ACC quarterback here.
Oh well, Cam Ward. I mean, he's third in the odds. I mean, Cam Ward. I think right now, realistically, since it kind of is a quarterback award, right? In my opinion, it's with the high. I know Devonta Smith won it a couple years ago, but Cam Ward's been the best quarterback in the country this year. But
And I love Cam Ward. I'm a big Cam Ward fan, and I'm just glad because if anyone watched him at Washington State, and I think he was somewhere else before Washington State, I could be wrong.
Eastern Washington before and then Washington State, I feel like that might be right.
I think it was just Washington State, or it could be somewhere else, and I'm completely missing it. Cam Ward
Dog.
has always been good. He's just on a better team now. Like and that and like no in other years, I'd be like, oh, Miami, they're gonna blow it. They're gonna
Well,
blow it.
here's my thing with Miami. They've been in so many close nail biter games. They're
It's gonna catch up to them.
bound to drop one. Oh, and I just looked before Washington State. It was Incarnate Word.
Yes, that's what it was. I was never gonna get that, but
Well,
that's
me
what it
either. Kid I went to high school with played basketball there, but that's the only reason I know that school.
was. But I have a belief with them, but also you are right that their close games are going to catch up to them. They're going to have to slip up somewhere. I don't know if it's an ACC championship game. I don't know. I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I don't know. But what I do know is this: they can go blow for blow with anybody.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But even if they end up losing one game, they're still in.
They're still
They're making the playoff. There's no ifs, ands, or ors about it. They're making the playoff. Just what a perfect year for the 12 team playoff. You couldn't have written this any better.
and I was the main one that was against it. Now I'm eating shit for it, and rightly so.
Hey, I didn't love it either, but you have legit probably like 20 teams fighting for these 12 spots right now. And October 30th, we're recording this.
Oh yeah, then and 2 days later, it's gonna be a fucking gauntlet for the rest of this month.
Yep. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
But with that being said, that's going to wrap our episode this week. We will be back to discuss hopefully a more uplifting Bears situation. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We will see you next time.